The holographic transmission crackled to life in the United Earth Defense Command's war room, casting an eerie blue glow across the faces of humanity's military leaders. Admiral Sarah Chen's jaw tightened as the final moments of the Valoran colony ship, Serenity's hope, played out before them. The massive vessel, carrying 3 million Valoran refugees seeking sanctuary, erupted in silent flames as Galactic Council interceptors unleashed their fury upon defenseless civilians. "They didn't even try to surrender," whispered General Marcus Rodriguez, his weathered hands clenching into fists. The Valorans were broadcasting peace frequencies on all channels. Admiral Chen's dark eyes never left the display as the last escape pods were systematically hunted down and destroyed. The Valorans had been humanity's first true allies among the stars, a peaceful, artistic species whose crystalline cities had become beacons of hope in an increasingly hostile galaxy. Their only crime had been refusing to surrender human refugees they had sheltered during the Council's purification campaigns. "Ma'am," Communications Officer Lieutenant Park's voice trembled slightly. "We're receiving similar reports from 17 other Valoran settlements. The Council's extermination protocols are thorough." The silence in the room was deafening. For 3 centuries, humanity had played by the Galactic Council's rules, accepting their relegation to second-class citizenship, enduring their condescending oversight, and watching as species after species either submitted completely or faced extinction. But the Valorans had been different. They had seen something in humanity that the Council feared: potential. "How long until the Prometheus fleet reaches full operational status?" Admiral Chen asked, her voice deadly calm. 72 hours, ma'am," replied Chief Engineer Colonel Santos. "The new quantum fusion drives are still in final calibration, but the weapon systems are online." Admiral Chen nodded slowly. The Prometheus fleet represented humanity's greatest secret, a collection of warships built using reverse-engineered Valoran crystal technology combined with uniquely human innovations. Where other species had sought to perfect existing technologies, humans had done what they always did. They had improvised, adapted, and made everything deadlier. "Send word to all Earth colonies," she commanded. "Operation Righteous Fury is now active. All human vessels are to converge on Sector 7 Alpha. We're going to make the Council remember why they tried to keep us isolated in the first place." 3 days later, the Galactic Council's flagship Eternal Dominion drifted in the vast emptiness of space, surrounded by a fleet of 300 vessels representing 12 different species. Council Overlord Thexqui basked in the glow of victory, his 6 eyes gleaming with satisfaction as he reviewed reports of the Valoran cleansing. "The vermin are extinct," Overlord reported his aide, a serpentine Kasari. "Every settlement, every ship, every trace of their crystalline technology has been eliminated. The humans' pet species can no longer shelter their refugees." Thexqui's mandibles clicked with amusement. "Excellent. Now the humans will understand their place. They will submit completely, or they will follow their crystalline friends into—" Alarms shrieked throughout the flagship as the Kasari aide's words were cut short. The bridge's main display lit up with impossible readings, energy signatures unlike anything in the Council's databases. "Overlord," the Kasari hissed, his voice rising to a panicked screech. "Massive fleet emergence detected. Unknown vessels jumping in at multiple vectors." The space around the Council fleet erupted with brilliant flashes of light as humanity's Prometheus fleet materialized from quantum space. 150 ships, each one bristling with weapons that had never been seen in galactic warfare. But it wasn't their numbers that made Thexqui's blood freeze, it was their formation. The human vessels moved with a precision and coordination that spoke of a single unified purpose. "This is Admiral Sarah Chen of the United Earth Defense Force," came the transmission, broadcast on all frequencies. "You have 30 seconds to surrender unconditionally, or we will demonstrate why the Valorans believed humanity was worth saving." Overlord Thexqui's 6 eyes blazed with indignation. The audacity. "These primitives dare threaten the Council? All vessels open fire. Show these mammals what happens when they—" The human response was immediate and devastating. The lead Earth vessel, UED's Defiance, unleashed something the galaxy had never seen. Quantum phase torpedoes that phased through energy shields as if they were empty space, striking the hull directly. The Council's most advanced battlecruiser simply ceased to exist. its molecules scattered across 1,000 cubic kilometers of space. What followed was not a battle, it was an execution. Human ships moved like wolves, coordinating their attacks with a savage intelligence that overwhelmed the Council's rigid tactical doctrines. Where Council vessels fired massive energy beams, humans deployed swarms of micromissiles that adapted and evolved mid-flight. Where the Council relied on their superior shields, humans used phase-shift technology to bypass defenses entirely. But it wasn't just their technology that terrified the Council forces, it was their fury. Human ships rammed damaged Council vessels rather than let them escape. Human fighters pursued fleeing shuttles across light years, and through it all Admiral Chen's voice echoed across the battlefield. For the Valorans, for every refugee they sheltered, for every act of kindness the Council repaid with genocide. In less than 6 hours, the mighty Council fleet was reduced to burning wreckage and escape pods. Overlord Thexqui, his flagship crippled and his fleet destroyed, found himself staring at the image of Admiral Chen on his screen. "You wanted to know humanity's place in the galaxy," she said, her eyes holding the cold fire of absolute conviction. "We are the species that remembers our friends. We are the species that keeps our promises. And we are the species that will never, ever forgive those who hurt the innocent." As rescue ships moved to collect the surviving Council forces, because humans, unlike their enemies, did not slaughter the defeated, Admiral Chen issued her final transmission to the galaxy. "Let every species know, Earth protects those who cannot protect themselves. The age of Council tyranny is over." The Galactic Council's 1,000-year reign of terror had ended not with submission, but with the fury of a species that had finally decided to stop hiding what they truly were. Humanity's greatest strength wasn't their technology or their numbers. It was their absolute refusal to abandon those they called friends.